The next session, the next 3 sessions, the last ones, are going to be about digital culture. So we're going to open this window now. The next panel is called The Future of Sound and Music, Exploring Leading Music Technologies and Experiences. And it's one of the sessions held by the Barcelona Music Tech Hub. We will take a look into the latest technologies in music creation and music distribution. Antònia Folguera, who is a curator for Sonar, is going to moderate this panel, and she's going to have Aga Samitowska, Lisette Lemus, and Michel Allain. So please. Oh.
So here we are.
Not sure.
Not sure?
Oh.
Yes. Now. Hi. Good afternoon, bona tarda, buenas tardes. Com esteu? Esteu desperts? Make some noise, please. Come on. Yes, I like it. So, first of all, thank you very much to Barcelona Tech Spirit for giving me the opportunity to speak these 3 amazing speakers. It would be fantastic just to have 30 minutes to share their knowledge with us. So I want to ask you, like, of course, you are all from my microphone is not working. Hello. Is this working? Yes? So all of you are from the field, yeah. You're all from the field of technology. And I wonder, how many of you work in the music industry and technology? Can you raise your hands, please? Okay, so quite a few. I like it. That means that our conversation about music technology will be even more interesting. So I want to ask you one thing. Just make again some noise for Aga, Lisette, and Michel. And so the relationship between music and technology is not as old as music, but as old as technology. And music and the music industry is very, very good at taking the strangest technologies and use them and make them grow in ways that we don't expect. And I'm not thinking here about music instruments that, yes, they have helped a lot in shaping music genres, etc. But I'm talking about technologies that seem a bit not artistic or boring. Let's say, thanks to a very old technology like BBS, bulletin board systems, now we have Spotify and Netflix. Who would have thought? Actually, when you think about it, it's absolutely fascinating. Or think about blockchain. I'm sure that you all know about it. It's a technology that it's not very artistic, but artists and the music industry have embraced this technology to make things with it, artistic ones and things that are meant to help the music industry ecosystem. Or think about the metaverses, from the earliest ones, back in the 90s and the early 2000s, the first communities that started to be extremely active in there were musical communities, or the internet. When the internet was born, there were already artists and musicians having websites and doing lots of fun, cool stuff. So it's an exciting field. And enough about me. It's time to listen to our speakers. If you just let me a moment so that I can find my chuleta, which I don't know, how do you say this in English? Chuleta. It means that you have a paper with the questions on so that you don't forget. And so my first question is for Lisette. And Lisette has like a very extensive experience on the internet. Like, I was stalking you a little bit on LinkedIn, and I saw that you created Loquo, a million years ago, which was a place when musicians would ask, I have a band and I need a guitarist or a singer or a synthesizer performer. So she knows a big deal about it, and I would like to ask her, in what point are we now in the world of music with technology advancing so quickly? And do you consider that it is now a decisive juncture for its future, or it's just another phase and that music is always innovative and things pass? What do you think?
Okay, gracias, thank you. Well, I think I'm coming from the Artificial Intelligence Research Institute, and I think that we are living in a transformative moment. As you mentioned, music and technology, and also music and artificial intelligence has always been very close, because always, also AI researchers has been using music as a test bed for experimentation. For example, in the 50s, they used the Iliac computer to generate the first computer song. Also, in the 90s, the machine learning development allows to create the first recommendation systems. So, taking into account why transformative is this moment, is about that also artificial intelligence is in a transformative moment. We are observing new results in artificial intelligence, and in particular in machine learning, as probably you all know about the large language models and the generative AI. So I think that this is a juncture, is a point of change, because before we thought that the art of creation was only possible for humans, for people, and or artists in particular. But now we are in the middle of experiences computer systems, very powerful, that are able to generate lyrics, songs, harmonies, etc. So in other fields, also artificial intelligence is impacting very heavily in the creative industry, in particular in music, in all aspects: performance, recommendations, personalization. So there is also a very important point that is not only about ready-made applications like Magenta, Avia, and so on, but also there's a bunch of open source technology that allow artists and technologies to experiment a lot, to practice, to create more and more with these artificial intelligence systems. So
this is true. Actually, I think that there are artists that are doing great creative job in programming models for making music, and that you can find, I don't know, on Hugging Face and these platforms where people put their code. They are creative with their music, and also they are creative with their code. And as you said, open source, that means sharing it with everybody, which is always nice.
Yes.
By the way, you spoke about artificial intelligence. Did you know that the first song that was composed with artificial intelligence dates back from 1957?
Yes.
So the relationship between music and artificial intelligence is nearly as old as artificial intelligence.
Exactly. It's a human condition, like exploring. We want to learn, and we want to use artificial intelligence for create music too. So it's very close.
For doing fun stuff. And also for Michel, that you work in intellectual property, right?
Right.
It's a field that I guess that you cannot ever be bored because there are always lots of things happening. And there have been lots of things happening in the last 20 to 25 years. And now that the artificial intelligence has landed, what's going on?
Oh. If I had the answer. Now, so I am from WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization. So we are the United Nations agency in charge of IP, intellectual property. And it's true that when we look at artificial intelligence, the world can change a lot, especially on that part. So that's why we fight and we try to find solutions to protect the creators and to help them to continue having the royalties they deserve because of their creation. So in fact, on one hand, we can see it as a negative point because, the music is used more and more. Your machines are trained with what has been created by some very creative people, and they do not receive necessarily the money they should. So that on one hand, but on the other hand, also we can use technology to help the creators, the performers, and the producers to protect their assets. So it is what we do at WIPO. We have launched several initiatives recently. I think we have the opportunity to discuss that later. But I'm sure if you are interested in the music, you've learned about CLIP, Creator Learn Intellectual Property, which is our last platform in order to give awareness to the creator of what are the right and how doing it right.
Sounds good. We are eager to find out. And now a question for Aga. You work in the environment of the blockchains and the Web3 and etc. And tell us what opportunities they represent for artists, and also how artists and how music is already using and benefiting or not from these new environments.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so I come from traditional music business roles. I worked in a record label for over 10 years, worked as a music manager with artists, and spotted blockchain early on in 2016 when it started to approach music problems. And I would say that I've seen a lot in the space. It was primarily looking into solving problems around royalty streams and all these ideas of putting everything on blockchain, which is still researched by some projects, but we are beginning to understand that it's not actually the tech problem, but the human problem. However, it's really interesting to see how the narrative around Web3 influences different scenarios that music business is taking nowadays. So, for example, Web3 brought conversation around the need of bringing new financial streams for artists. So you can see it in the presence of digital assets. Everybody know NFTs, but in music industry, it took a very interesting turn into digital merchandise, for example, or similar assets that we know from gaming. So it's an interesting alternative or new product that artists can actually offer through fandom. We are seeing terminology around governance. So, the old music industry has its own very specific intermediaries, and Web3 brings these new ideas for governance, meaning that you yourself can be an owner of all your rights and metadata and data. I'm not sure whether it's useful for the entire industry, because with such ownership, a big responsibility comes. So, and not all artists are ready for such responsibility on them. So
that's the following thing that I was going to ask. Like, are the artists ready for such technology? And the other question would be, is the audience ready for such technology?
Exactly. So yeah, I've been putting a lot of thought into it, and from one hand, I see amazing opportunities, but for the other hand, yeah, by working with artists for so many years, I know that, like, they want to create, right? But when you go to like fully 100% Web3 solutions, you need to become an entrepreneur. Yeah, it's a right angle for some. Not sure if for everybody. However, we can see that interesting narrative around the need for community governance came up, for example, in the music business. So solutions that are not tailored for scale, like Spotify's of this world, but it brought to the table needs of smaller artists that take their advantage from the smaller but maybe stronger community around them.
That is true. Like those technologies kind of offer the opportunity to get communities better held together in a way. So we'll see what happens in that sense. I thought that it stuck with me, the idea that you said that in the Web3 space, artists, they need to become entrepreneurs. Can you explain briefly why before I get into more questions? Because time flies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very quickly. Yeah, exactly what I said at the beginning, that when you, like with Web3 or without Web3, if you are an owner of everything, then the entire responsibility is on you, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever contract you sign, whether it's you that is signed there, so you need to understand all the decisions are on you. Yeah, so that's the brief explanation. Being mindful of the time.
This time, I guess that we could talk about this for hours because there's a lot to discuss. But I would like to get to know in more detail in what projects you are currently working on, what you are involved with, so that we all know. And Michel told me, we can discuss that later on, so now's the time you tell us.
It's my time. Yeah, I wanted to, I think, two projects I would like to highlight today, especially one which is called CLIP, C-L-I-P, Creator Learn Intellectual Property. The URL is goclip.org. It's a platform done by creators for creators where they can learn all their rights. For the moment, we have only music, but we are going to add video, text, image. It's only in English, but it's going to be translated in our 6 UN languages. So French, Arabic, Chinese, Russian, and Spanish. And we think that it's very important, especially now that the creators are aware of their rights, and especially with all this. We were speaking before about the position of the country, which is quite different. Anyway, today in Europe, as far as AI is concerned, we can see a trend. And it's very important that the creators are aware of what's going on, what are their rights, and how they can manage it. And also, we are United Nations, so we cover all the world. And I can tell you that the situation is very different from what we can see here in Europe. and what we can have in Asia, Africa, or some other continent. But the music is global, the business is global, and the AI is global. So that's why it's important to give our creator the knowledge of their right and how to use this. At the same time, another project, I will be shorter, but it's important with all that, it's international identifier and international standard, because it's the only way to recognize the music. And here again, when you are in Europe, in Spain, in France, you have some major CMO, they are able to manage the right, and they are able to give international identifier. When you go in some other continent, it's another story, and you have great local music, but with no ISRCs, ISWC. Normally it should say you something, or go to clip, you will understand what it is. And it's crucial to have this identifier to get recognized by the different system and to receive the money you deserve from the platform. And here we are helping the CMO with a back office software, it's called WIPO Connect, where they can easily allocate this international identifier to their local and domestic creators. So it's really the two fights that we are having at the moment at WIPO.
Super. So now it's time for Lisette. That she's like that. Yeah. I can't wait to tell you what I'm doing right now. So what is it? Looks super exciting.
No. I'm going to take the word of Aga about community, and I want to mention a project that is not a community, not yet maybe, but we are working in this project which is called Artificia, that what it's looking for is to transfer knowledge about the application of artificial intelligence to the creative industry and in music, of course. And this is a way, it's a responsible way that we are trying to bring to the society as, producers of new algorithms, in new artificial intelligence algorithms. We thought that it was very important to communicate to the public, to the artists, and also to bring together technologists and artists, because as Aga and Michel mentioned, it's a very complex scene, the way that we are producing now arts. And it's not an individual approach anymore. Maybe the artists, in the schools, they learn how to play, but to be an artist in this moment, we need more information, more entrepreneurships, skills in technologies. So our idea is a small project yet, but this is the idea, no? Bring all together, discuss, showcase project, and learn together, because the technology is more and more complex. And on the other hand, has amazing opportunities to do very innovative things. So this is a project, it's not in the research field. We also work with researchers developing new algorithms, but I think that by the time that we have, I think that is all.
Don't worry about the time. Ignore the clock for a little bit. Aga, it's your turn. What amazing, exciting things are you working on at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm about to start Music Tech Poland, which is kind of more similar initiative to Music Tech Hub Barcelona that you have here, an amazing project. And as there is a clear movement in Europe around music tech initiatives, so almost each country in Europe has its own association or a community around music tech, which is everything and the intersection of music industry and new technologies. So yeah, we need one in Poland, where I come from, and it is about accelerating our local startup scene to first map all the projects that are happening around music tech. And but my personal motivation is to put the term music tech, out there, and invite talent also from other industries, because being so long in this in the music industry, I see that it's really broad. We cannot keep ourselves closed in one community, but we really need to go to other sectors, because for some reason, the relationship that people, as a human being, have towards music is really specific. It's really really unique, right? What was the first sound that was recorded ever? It was a melody, right? People recorded. The first thing that comes to your mind was a melody. The Elon Musk, when he launched the car to the space, he needed to have a music in the car playing, right? So there is a specific need that human beings have to put music everywhere. It's a very organic relationship. So I believe that the question and the problems that tech or that we are approaching in music tech is not actually how new technologies disrupt music industry, but it's how the people disrupt the music industry, having new tools that enable them to use to consume or create music in a new way. So taking this very broad approach and invite also other sectors to conversation, from fintech or mental health. It's very, very important to kind of
super
change.
O'clock. The 30 minutes flew by. So thank you very much, Aga, Lisette, and Michel. Please join your hands together for them. Applauso, sisplau. I moltes gràcies. Una salutació de servidora, Antònia Folguera. Ha estat un plaer. Merci.
Thank you very much for sticking to the clock. Gracias, Antònia.